I only have one thing to say to President Trump. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
In my last video I introduced the 15373 pattern, and today I want to show you how this pattern pops up today in relation to Harry Styles, Donald Trump and the United States election. In order to understand this video, I recommend that you watch the first two videos in the description of this video. The first is about the timeline that I present on this channel, the end time timeline, including the dates of the rapture of the church and the return of Jesus. I explain how I found this timeline, and the other video is about the introduction of the 15373 pattern. And that video is very useful because I also explain how I juggle with dates and numbers, and how this results in certain codes that I believe point to the end time timeline. As I said, today it's 5 November 2024 and it's the day of the United States elections. And this morning I scrolled through my YouTube suggestions. I should not have been doing that. I was a little bit procrastinating. But this video about Harry Styles appeared in my timeline, in my suggestions, and it mentioned how his accent changed over time. So at the beginning of the video I saw him as a young English boy, and to see the difference I skipped to the end of the video, and I clicked in the short part about Donald Trump and the sign of the times.
I only have one thing to say to President Trump. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times.
And according to Wikipedia, Sign of the Times is the debut solo single by the English singer-songwriter Harry Styles, and it was released on 7 April 2017. As you can see in the video about the Max Verstappen dream, I often find numerical codes by comparing the start of something to a relevant date in the future. So in this case, the release date of the song, and today it's 5 November 2024. But before I explain that, I have to introduce the song Sign of the Times to you. A couple of months ago, I stumbled upon an article about this song and the music video, and that it has end time related elements in it, both in the song where Styles is flying through the air in an empty landscape, and the lyrics have some eschatology elements in them as well. And I read a part from the article. The song apparently is a mother dying after giving birth, but we see no scenes of a dying mother or news footage of protests, but we do see 5 bizarre minutes of a solitary Styles floating across a deserted landscape. And he doesn't just float, he runs across the water, opens his arms in an attitude of submission, and gazes into the clouds, and eventually rises into the clouds. The author asks, was God somewhere on Styles' mind as he wrote the song? Did his Catholic outlook just take center stage? Even if the answer is no, and even if Styles didn't really know what he was saying or why, the song's ache for the transcendent remains is fascinating. Not as a read of the times in light of the gospel, but as a reach for that light in some undeniable dark times. The lyrics, I skip a little bit in the song, but it includes, just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. Welcome to the final show. Hope you are wearing your best clothes. You can't bribe the door on your way to the sky. You look pretty good down here, but you ain't really good. Just stop crying, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away from here. I don't think it's hard to imagine the rapture here. Just stop your crying, it'll be alright. They told me that the end is near. We gotta get away from here. Just stop your crying. Have the time of your life, breaking through the atmosphere, and things are pretty good from here. Remember, everything will be alright. We can meet again somewhere far away from here. Yeah, through the lens of eschatology, this is a Rapture song. So when I learned about this song and yeah, I think the unintentional divine elements, I just compared the song to my timeline. So I took the release date, 7th April 2017, and I compared it to the date of the Rapture. And I found 153.73 synodic months. So the 15373 pattern. And then, as you can understand, when I see a video about Styles mentioning Trump on election day, combined with the title of his song, Sign of the Times, of course I start comparing dates. So today again is 5 November 2024, and when we compare it to the release date of the song, 7 April 2017, we find 2,769 days. This is 373.51 weeks and 153.73 days. So it's twice the sequence, and it doesn't work only in one direction but in both ways. And there are more layers. I can't address them all, but I like this one very much. Styles was born 1 February 1994, and that means that today he is 11,235 days old. As I explained in the Max Verstappen video, this spells 11/2/35 or 11 February 2035. This is a code date, and I have reason to assume this one is relevant. Not every code date that I find results in new numerical codes, but this one seems to be relevant because when I compare it to the return date of Jesus on my timeline, we find 10.565 Gregorian months, where the sequence 10.565 is the numerical value that represents in Hebrew the letters YHWH, which is the name of God. So that's a reason for me to look into 11 February 2035, and when I compared it with today, I learned that it is 3,750 days from now, and we can split that number in 3,735.1 days and 15.373 days. So again, that's the 15373 pattern in two directions. Compared to Styles' birthday, 1 February 1994, we find 14,985 days. When we apply the sequence to this number, we find 15,373 minus 373.51, so both ways, and again 15.373 days, the 15373 pattern again. I usually don't make calculations with three numbers because I use years, months, synodic months, weeks, days, hours. With three numbers I have way too many options, and I can calculate to any desired outcome. So by limiting it usually to two numbers, I think it's fair to see a message in there, and now it's three. It's a little bit much, but in this case I only use the pattern where this video is about, so I think I'm allowed to do it. At least the math works, and because I stretched a little bit what I used to do. Yeah, I have to verify if it works on another layer as well. So I compare the code date 11 February 2035 with the 14,985 days we found in relation to Styles' birthday. And when we compare the new code date, so 14 September 1985, with Styles' birthday, we find 373.51 Gregorian months, 3.7351 days, and 3735.1 hours. So again, 3 instances of the 15373 pattern in this case in one direction. Ultimately, I don't know the timeline. I just share what I see, find and know. But I think that you understand why I wanted to share this today.